Welcome back for another video. In today's video we'll be looking at the top 100 greatest ever FPL managers, including their team selection, player ownership, transfer plans and more. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit like to support the channel. And if you'd like to support the channel further, a link to become an FPL Focal member is below, which includes perks such as early access to videos, a private channel on our Discord and more. And if you want to keep up with what the greatest ever FPL managers are doing this season, make sure you're subscribed. Enjoy the video. With the many millions of FPL managers, just barely 100 meet the criteria to join our list. The criteria to join this list is a minimum of 4 top 1k finishes or a minimum of 7 top 10k finishes. They are undisputably the greatest managers to have ever played the game, with a record to prove it. Their decision making, planning and understanding of the game is exceptional. We call them the Elite 100. That said, there's actually slightly more than 100, but to keep it simple, we'll mostly use percentages when going through their teams and moves. Let's start off with the Elite 100's team selections. By aggregating all of their teams together, we can arrive at a consensus team, which is a full squad of 15 players that they agree on having the most. One reasonable conclusion you could draw is that the higher percentage a player has, the more you should consider owning them. The Elite 100 template team is as follows. 5 changes to the team this week. Duffy drops out of the team, in timely fashion too, as he didn't play in the City match. And replacing him is Rudiger, who got an assist and a clean sheet in Chelsea's win against Norwich. The other Chelsea player who joins the team is Havertz, who looked a very reasonable punt for that fixture, and they'll be frustrated to walk away with nothing despite Chelsea putting 7 past Norwich. Sarr and Benrahma were the 2 midfielders that have dropped out of the template team, and Bumo was the other mid who joins with 32.7% ownership. Mbumo is priced very reasonably at 5.6 and he's playing out of position as a striker. He's 8th among all midfielders for expected goal involvement on 3.91 XGI. With Brentford's favourable upcoming fixtures, he looks a great option. For the first time all season, Salah's finally hit 100% ownership in the Elite 100 template team. Unsurprisingly, Lukaku drops straight out of the template team, as does Ronaldo. Replacing them is Vardy and Tony, who faced each other in Gameweek 9. More on Vardy and Tony later in the video. Heading into Gameweek 9, here's their transfer activity. 11% rolled the free transfer, and just under a half of the Elite 100 made use of their free transfers. A lot of hits this week, as 36% took a -4 and 6% took a -8. You'd imagine the surprise injury to Lukaku played a part in this, with 75% of the managers owning him last week, and evidently having other fires to put out in their teams too. Before we take a look at their transfers, we caught up with Tom Stephenson from the Elite 100, who in the Premier Fantasy Tools all-time leaderboard he ranks 3rd, and on Fantasy Football Scouts Hall of Fame he ranks 2nd. He has a phenomenal 13 consecutive top 36k finishes, which includes 6 top 10k finishes and 4 top 1k finishes. He's currently 32k already and activated his wildcard in Gameweek 8. Here's what he had to say. The first question was, you activated the wildcard in Gameweek 8, what was the thinking behind some of the picks? He said, the fixture swing was a big reason for many of the picks. I took out players like Sarr, Benrahma and Greenwood, who have more difficult runs, and I brought in Mbumo and Foden. The former as he's cheap and keeps getting plenty of chances, and Foden as he seems to be getting a good number of minutes and playing mostly in that false 9 position for City. I also brought in James, Cancelo and Diaz due to the fixtures, and the first 2 having good attacking threat. Then Ronaldo was taken out for Lukaku given the good Chelsea run. That didn't last long, unfortunately. The next question was, who was your Lukaku replacement and why? He said, I moved Lukaku to Vardy. The reason for this was due to Vardy being in good form with decent fixtures upcoming. The advantage in going for him over Kane was also due to cost. It left me money to make upgrades elsewhere, such as Armstrong to Tony. And the final question was, which players are top of your watch list? He said, on my watch list would be Chilwell, given the impressive goal scoring form. Also Tony, given Brentford have a long run of good fixtures. Son and Kane will be interesting from Gameweek 12. Lastly, Livramento, because he just keeps returning every week. A quick look at the chip usage among the Elite 100 next. 4% activated their wildcard in Gameweek 9, which means just 16% still have theirs left to use. There is another upcoming international break between Gameweek 11 and Gameweek 12, so perhaps those patient managers who still have it may opt to use it then, as the breaks can typically throw up a few surprises. Another surprise was that a single manager activated their bench boost chip in Gameweek 9, which puts us at 2% having used it now. A couple of managers unexpectedly used it back in Gameweek 1, which is not a commonly seen approach to the ship, with most managers typically opting to use it in a double game week, as you're less likely to have a player not feature at all and the ceiling is highest. If you've seen my video on the biggest FPL score of all time, that score was achieved by using the bench boost during a double game week. We're not likely to see a big double game week until much later in the season, however. Onto the Elite 100's transfers. The top 3 most popular transfers all consisted of selling Lukaku. 77 managers chose Vardy as their Lukaku replacement, 22 picked Tony and 15 picked Kane. Vardy's been in exceptional form and is second among all forwards for expected goal involvement after Antonio, on 4.6 XGI. He's registered 6 big chances and 21 shots in the box, which is also second after Antonio. We've briefly discussed Brentford's upcoming run of games, where they face the likes of Watford, Aston Villa and Norwich in their next 3. Tony's underlying numbers have also been good, with 3.9 XGI for the season, which is the 4th best among all forwards. He also gives you a huge amount of money in the bank to reinvest elsewhere. Kane's an intriguing pick. We all know how high and informed Kane's ceiling is, and only last season he was a near essential pick during some parts of the season. He only got his first league goal of the season in Gameweek 8, however Spurs are another side with a very good run of fixtures on the horizon, and he could be a real ahead of the curve pick right now. Havertz and Mbeumo were the other 2 players that were among the most transferred in, and both look like good picks for the next few game weeks minimum. In Havertz's case, he was unfortunate not to have an involvement on any of 7 Chelsea's goals. However, with Lukaku and Werner both out, his minutes should be fairly assured. That said, Tuchel spoke in his last press conference about how Mount can play as a forward too. We'll finish by looking at how the Elite 100 managers are ranking currently. Their ranks are categorised into 5 areas: top 10k, top 100k, top 500k, top 1 mil and outside top 1 mil. The breakdown is as follows. Last game week there were 12.5% outside the top 1 mil, which has dropped to 11.9%. Elsewhere, very little movement, however a 0.5% decrease to those ranked in the top 10k, as just 1.8% are ranked there now. Ray Freeman is the top manager currently, ranked 2.5k overall, and he'll be hunting a 5th top 1k finish. Most impressively, last season he finished 19th overall too, and he's had another outstanding start to the season. That concludes this video on the Elite 100. We'll continue to follow them throughout the season, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out. Thank you again to Tom for taking the time to answer the questions. A link to his Twitters in the description. I read every comment, so let me know if you liked the video and what you thought of the Elite 100 team.